You don't like the grizzled cop who doesn't play by the rules.
who uses unorthodox methods to solve crimes.
Tell me where. Tell me where the witness is.
In this world,
In a world.
one man can bring in a world where one man can bring justice to the city.
And he says stuff like, "This city is not big enough for the both of us." You're like, what?
I work alone.
I don't need a badge to solve this crime. Yeah, you do. Actually, right here it says you probably need this badge. Like, you can't just.
I like the.
And he has to give up his badge during the climax, and he's still gonna do the job regardless. Like, come on.
You know what? You don't need to fire me, coach, cause I quit.
Give me your badge. Give me your badge. Get out of here.
You're off the department, Zones. Do you hear me? You're out.
Meanwhile,
I don't need this department.
You know
I'm a
what your
lone
problem
wolf.
is, detective? You don't know how to play with others.
Meanwhile, they're saying this to like Eddie Murphy, bro.
Yes.
In a buddy cop movie, you're like, this guy, come on.
I have a theory. I feel like Eddie Murphy. Wow, sorry, another Will Smith reference. I feel like Eddie Murphy was replaced by Hollywood by Will Smith.
Yes.
I feel like if you think about who the biggest actor was, and then when Eddie Murphy's star kind of at the same time Will Smith was. It's weird.
I feel like in between those was Wesley Snipes.
I feel you, but different movies. You know what I mean?
Hey everybody, guess what? We're back. This is Africa is Next podcast. Thanks to everybody who's been checking out this channel since its inception. I truly appreciate it. And we've been rocking it with these guys for quite a while on this particular podcast. I'm not alone as usual. I'm with Buckmeister Cool from MeisterGeek Media and
He's in the shadow realm. Give it a few minutes.
Definitely in the shadow.
No. I'm here, but I'm without lights. They have stolen my robot soul, so I can't appear yet.
Hence, the load shedding means the shadow realm in this case.
Yeah, my AI is missing.
And we have the two co-hosts of Nerdgasm from KC Media, which is Pila Masetti and Tibet Lokhala.
Hello.
Yes, we are South Africans, number one, and number two, yes, we are geeks. We do know what the hell we're talking about. So you are not. You didn't come
for
this is not a prank.
Somebody woke up and chose violence today.
We actually know what we're talking about. So yeah, today we're gonna be doing another filler episode. In case you maybe wanted to
catch up on Bleach.
Catch up on Bleach, no, not today. It's just gonna
frustrate you. Make you feel angry.
We're just gonna be doing Pluto.
I'm just whipping out all my anime weeaboo Japanese.
Let me do my dramatic side eye. Does it frustrate you?
Yeah.
You feel regret, anger, frustration.
You know what he needs? He needs like the pain music that the world shall know pain.
Oh my gosh. Shinra Tensei.
We're just going to be doing Pluto. Pluto came out recently. So Pluto is a total of 8 episodes, which are basically more than 45 minutes each. So it's quite
45
long.
to an hour.
Yeah, 45 to an hour. And basically Pluto is an anime adaptation of a manga that came out in the early 2000s from a guy called Naoki Urasawa.
Oh, this is that old.
Yes, sir.
Well, I mean, yeah, it does have my brother did say that it does have an old anime art style, so I guess. But, like, right. I didn't figure 2000s. I figured way later than that.
Yes. So, yeah, Naoki Urasawa basically is a mangaka. He's done work such as 20th Century Boys, 21st Century Boys, Monster. He was involved in, what's that one? I'm forgetting it now. But anyway, yeah, so those are some of the projects that he's worked on. He also has a series called Mamben. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Mamben, where he goes around talking to other mangaka who have done other things, like Roichi Ikegami, who did something called Sanctuary and has been working with a man called Brozen or Shofu Mimura. So yeah, it's I highly recommend people to watch Mamban. It's really good.
Mr. Extraordin has like a black belt in nerddom. I thought I was a
Yeah.
Jesus.
What did
Oh,
they
no,
do?
no, no.
They
No,
just hang out. Like
no,
what
I
happened?
think I think we need to identify that each one of us have got our four different niches. I have specific memories of scenes or, or awesome moments back in the back of my head. When it comes to trivia, Mr. Extraordinary is your man.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, that's your special. Yeah, you were saying you don't have a speciality. Like you knowing all of these guys. Like, bro, you saying names I've never heard on this list. Oh my god.
Yeah,
Mm.
that's true. Yeah, but yeah, just to uh, wrap it up. So basically, this guy has a tendency of doing two series at the same time, right? I mean, he was hospitalized at a
Wild.
point because, like, yeah, he's just one of those guys.
ADHD.
He came up with
Hey,
he
not
came
to
up.
go on a tangent. Sorry, not to go on a tangent. But did you guys hear about the strike in Japan where the people are just like, nah?
The animation studio.
Yeah, apparently the animation studios people are walking out now, and some of the mangaka are like, mm-mm.
Isn't that what's happening with Studio Mappa? Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yeah, apparently, yeah, Studio Mappa. Apparently, everybody was like, "No, we going home to our families now. We're tired of living in this basement."
That makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna have
So
to make a
don't
disclaimer like
hospitalize yourself, please.
I'm gonna have to make disclaimers like we did with the whole writer strike back in the Asuka days.
I guess so. If we cover
Yeah,
JJK,
you are very good with that. So please take it away.
I don't know. We are in full support of the workers' strike, whatever the strike is. I haven't done my research. I need to do my research, so make these disclaimers work. But if it's for people to rest and have a life, I'm in full support. Our comments and commentaries are in no means in support of any of these super companies that are working their employees to death. We are in solidarity right now, and we are talking about what we love because it's what we love. Disclaimer out.
freestyle disclaimer.
The three of us fully support what he just said right now. But yeah,
Sorry, Mr. Shorten, you were saying?
no problem. Just to cut it short, basically, I'll give an example. Naoki Urasawa is such a genius that, okay, he can also sing, by the way, but he's such a genius that he was in his bathtub, right? And then he was watching the news, and then he heard a speech. I don't know from which president, from which country, but as he was listening to the speech, he heard the line, as we embark into the 20th century, and that's how he came up with 20th century boys. And he's well known for creating iconic villains. Like his villains are so complex and so interesting. That's why some people love Monster. They love Monster because of the villain called Johan. But in 20th century folks, in 20th century boys, there's a villain called Friend, who is like a cult leader, and is very very interesting. So anyway, Pluto is based on a chapter from Osamu Tezuka's old manga called Atom or Astro Boy, translated into American. So there was a chapter there called The Greatest Robot on Earth. So basically, Naoki Urasawa read that chapter when he was a kid and he was inspired by it. And he also says that Osamu Tezuka's work is really, really dark. Even though it's meant for shonen, it's meant for kids, but if you really think about it, it's not shonen. This is why this anime is so serious, and it's not a shonen type of anime. It's very dark. It's very adult themed. So yeah, let's just get into it.
And I want, okay, maybe I'm not tangenting anything, but I just wanted to. You can see how this is actually an anime.
Okay, please.
Because the first thing I did was like I watched the first 20 seconds and they was commenting about the fight. I'm thinking, this dialogue doesn't add up. Hold on. Then I was like, okay, audio in Japanese. Nanda correct. Like, yes. Yes.
You know what's interesting? I actually prefer the English dub on this one.
Backmeister for the win.
Okay, it's not my channel, so I can't play a Hero Force in this in this moment.
You were my brother, Devilo.
But I'm enjoying the Japanese dub. It's so
No,
refreshing.
you know what? You know what I think it is though. I think it's just I've heard these voices before. Like the Japanese dub is not bad, but it's like I feel like I've heard a lot of these voice actors before, and it's just like I thought there was a lot more variety with the English dub. It felt like it was a lot more like the old men. A lot of them sounded a lot very similar in the Japanese dub, and I was just like, I want to like because the English dub is not bad. I think it's actually pretty good. Also, shout out to Keith David for Dr. Tenma. He did a fantastic job.
Yeah.
So I thought they all did a great performance in the English dub.
David has never sucked in any animated project, to be honest. The voice
on a point of just to disclaimer here, I'm not saying that the English dub is bad. This is by no means a bleach. It's very good English dub. I'm just saying I found the fact that the dialogue and what they're saying fits in the sentence frame for me in Japanese sold it for me. It's like, oh, okay, this I can call anime. Remember we were busy arguing last week about
Blue-Eyed Samurai,
whether it's anime or not.
Right.
And right now, what I'm feeling like, it's like the guys from the guys who made this series and the guys who made Blue-Eyed Samurai are busy making I'm busy making opinions of what do they think about Europe and Japan at the same time.
Yeah, that's actually pretty funny.
It actually took the studio 4 years to complete this project.
No, it shows. It shows the art style.
I still think I could have used a bit more action. Like I get that Naoki Urasawa. How do you say his name? Sorry, I missed Urasawa.
Yeah.
Urasawa Sensei.
Yes.
What sorry in Japanese? I'm a gomen. There we go. Urasawa Sensei. But like I think I could have used just a bit more action. I would have liked to seen the robot because like they talk about these robots and their capabilities. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more. I mean, of course, in the first episode, and I know we're not there yet, but Gizict gets his swaggiest walk when he like when you start realizing there's something up with this guy where he just starts walking different, and you're just like, hey man, what's Alango? Because I thought this guy was a regular person. I didn't.
With a wife having PTSD flashbacks, and I'm thinking, oh, it's going to be iRobot all over again. Jiggy jiggy. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yes, like, I want to walk like that now. That was like a JoJo Stan walk.
Okay, let's basically get into it. So the story starts with a fire. Basically develops at the moment.
Yeah.
Yes. You were saying the entire?
An entire mountain is in flames.
Yeah. And firefighters are going there. They're trying obviously to,
Yeah, it's the typical, first I thought this would be like a flashback or something like, oh no, what's happened? Something terrible. Then to think, oh, it's actually happening live. And then so there's this big fancy cute robot that everybody called Mont Blanc.
Yes. Isn't that a name of a pen?
Yeah.
Isn't it a champagne?
Mont Blanc?
No, Sauvignon Blanc is the name of the champagne.
Yeah.
No, there's more than one. There's other Blancs, but
oh yeah, that's not Blancs. But Blanc means white, and Mont Blanc just means white mountain.
Oh,
okay. French. Ding. I tried to learn French when I was in high school. Funny, I know more. I know more Japanese words than I know French. And
ladies and gentlemen, Tebelo Kala is like a spy on the side. He does this in his off time. Finished assassinating presidents.
I can neither confirm nor deny for the sake of
like a true spy.
For the sake of my co-host, I'm gonna just say no. Oh look, he's even the lights went off. No, of course not. I'm just a regular ass guy.
Mont Blanc is basically considered to be like a gentle giant. He is more like a nature-based. He loves nature, kind of like Android 16 in Dragon Ball Z. And he's the first one to basically die. And his creator, is weeping, comes out and says, this is not a suicide. This person is definitely killed by someone. He's weeping there and all of that. And that's where the mystery starts, right? Because basically there's something called the International Robot Laws, which basically, I guess you could say, it's kind of like the Sokovia Awards in the sense that, robots are not allowed to do certain things, right? And killing them.
for me, like I said, iRobot, the three robot laws, blah blah blah. It's like, okay, we've got that.
I
And
mean,
then
again, I don't need like for me oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Actually, keep going.
I was saying, I also at the beginning, I had that feeling like, oh, it's iRobot 2.0. Maybe they've done a better version of telling the story, so robots aren't allowed to kill. Oh, there's a killer robot out there. Oh, look, there's a. I'm sure this is a robot hating cop like that, like Will Smith. Okay, we talk about Will Smith a lot in our channels. Do you not? Have you noticed?
I've noticed.
He's been in the media a lot.
Get jiggy with it. Nah.
No,
but it's I think it's
at this rate,
Asimov's
people
three
might think that
rules.
I might have a crush on him. I don't, guys. No.
I think it's the rules you're referring to. I think they Asimov's three rules because
Yeah.
I know he's like a prolific sci-fi writer. Also wrote about robots. And
Yes.
Who's that?
I think is it Robert Asimov? I might be butchering the first name, but I know his last name is Asimov.
Okay.
And he basically wrote like sci-fi robot stories, and I
Okay.
guess these rules have carried on through other people's fiction.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I mean, oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, please go ahead. You wanted to say something?
I mean, for me, again, I don't know. I'm kind of over the allegories of everything. Like just in general, like even if it's not robot allegories, like I'm kind of tired of like, okay, these elves are the prosecuted elves, and they're the ones that it's like I get that fantasy is used for that, but I'm like with this robot thing, I think I've seen it a lot. Not that this is bad, not at all. I don't think this is bad at all. I would say objectively, I think this is better than something like Blue-Eyed Samurai, just
Oh,
because I think the
iRobot,
narrative,
fight me.
yeah, yeah, because I think the narrative is way tighter in this and all of that stuff. And like one thing does lead to another, whereas like Blue-Eyed Samurai has like the habit of dropping stuff kind of halfway sometimes and everything. But like, yeah, I think the whole allegory thing, like after Detroit Be Human, the video game, and after like, iRobot and all of those things, I'm like, do we really need more allegories for like human interactions anymore? And the other thing is like, can everybody who's developing AI just watch this and stop developing AI? Maybe let's just no. Like, I
What
think no.
do you think the robots an allegory for specifically in this show?
Yeah, it's persecution. It's human relations of like hatred and why would you keep this particular person down, or why would you take this particular person's right away? What makes a human? What makes the difference between a robot and a human? Like it's hitting a lot of those beats for me, where
Yeah,
I'm just like,
it's
yeah.
it's kind of like X-Men, you could say, in a sense that
Yeah, because these robots are very interactive. Like, it's there's no fine line to think, well, okay, I mean, robots have relationships, robots
they have
have
jobs, they have
they,
apartments.
they have husbands and wives. I can imagine what the economy must be looking like for all these humans. Imagine if now we've got a never tiring workforce that is they can appear perfectly human, just like we do, and they'll never complain or tire about the workload or anything like that. I'm trying to think what the economy must be looking like. Maybe some guys have watched the future episodes of Nosua. You will get answers. I haven't seen them yet, but wow, the foreshadowing is scary right now. It's like wow.
Yeah, and I just want to say something quickly. So the manga originally ran from 2003 until 2009. And then
6 years.
Pardon?
I'm saying about 6 years then.
Yeah.
Pretty good run.
And it's amazing that they fit all of this into 8 episodes. I mean, okay, that the runtime makes sense, but still, if we have anime that's way longer than this, with manga chapters that are way shorter than this. I'm sure.
Looking at you, Attack on Titan.
So I'm sure they got rid of the fluff and stuff.
I will not be the Attack on Titan defender here. I'm tired of it. Don't you talk about that show.
What show? I've never heard of it in my entire life.
But yeah, I guess the mystery, well, let's say the scene basically ends with the main character who wakes up. This is Gesicht, right? He was
Is
basically.
he the main character? I don't know. I feel like he gets the most screen time, but like I don't think this is told with like a main character narrative. It feels like the world is more the main character than like a specific character.
Well,
I
he
can
is the
understand.
point of view character that you get to see for most of the first episode per se, because
Oh, true.
we get introduced to that world through his eyes, and that's why I
Yeah,
call him a point of view character. We can't say he's the protagonist right now or anything like that. What we
yeah.
see is we have a world. There's robbers, which for some reason are fascinated in sharing each other's memory disks. I felt like, is this an allegory for sex? Damn, bro. Stop
Yeah.
sharing.
I can't
And
say
also,
for sure, but like from watching Monster, I would definitely think the detective is the protagonist because I've got a funny feeling it starts off slow. We're still setting up the world. We're
Yeah.
setting up the players,
Yeah, that's true.
and then the story is gonna kick in. I can't say for sure. I mean, I've only watched the
look,
first episode.
I know why Bike Master is saying what he's saying because he watched the whole thing, and
Oh, okay.
so
No,
have
but
I.
I'm even saying from like the first two episodes, like he doesn't give off like protagonist energy. It doesn't
Mm.
feel like he's like as much as he's the point of view character, you
Mhm.
don't spend a lot of time in his head. You kind of
Yeah,
spend a lot of time in the world around him.
which
Like
Yeah.
is a
Mm.
which is a nice angle because I'm sick and tired
Yeah.
of those type of narrative, those type of I call them like I forgot the type. It's a writing technique, you know, like
Protagonist Kun.
The what?
it's a writing technique,
Mm.
like when
You know, I've been having an.
not to quote a terrible book. Oh yeah, you're saying before I interrupt you.
Also, I was just saying that you know that I've always had an issue with Naruto being called Naruto because
Yeah.
like you're basically limiting the potential of your story by calling it the name of your main character. You
I
know.
don't know, but like if we look at something like Blue Eyed Samurai for a sec, like
Mhm.
you know that they're talking about Mizu, and you know that Mizu is like the main character. You know everything is going to be told through her in the story, and
Yeah.
I think it's just like it's a preference thing. Like because
Yeah.
I do prefer spending time with a singular character and getting invested in their story type of
Mhm.
thing. I mean, this again, not terrible in the slightest. But it's
I,
also
I,
it's that thing of like Game of Thrones where like I may pick a character to invest in, and then it's like because it's not focused through their eyes, I'm like, yeah, I don't have that guy for long.
mhm.
Mm.
No, the story technique I was talking about is like a narrative, like a first person narrative or something like that. I forgot the
Oh.
terminology. They used it a lot to
Uh-oh.
writing the writing. It's like I walked over to that person and I spoke to Jasper and he said this and this. So basically, you are the POV character in the book, where the books from even a few decades before, it was basically that character out there. You are watching this world, so you're like above this. You are you are the fourth wall, basically watching this story unfold. So I'm liking this because I'm the fourth wall right now. I can see different acts of different character arcs and stuff, but I'm not necessarily watching this. I'm not necessarily inside the one robot detective
I get.
watching everything from his
Mm.
perspective because then it for me it limits my perspective on things.
The two books I can think about that are talking about what you were talking about regarding the
Yeah,
POV, first person narrative, is Great
yeah.
Gatsby with Nick Carraway. And the second one is A Study in Scarlet that introduces Sherlock Holmes for the first time, where
Mm.
we're actually learning who Sherlock Holmes is from Watson's point of view. So I
It's
do.
also they also do it a lot in books like Bram Stoker's Dracula as well, because it's basically a compendium of little articles from people's perspectives. You don't see, oh, I am Dracula, I'm doing this. So
Mm.
it's
I
like, oh,
mean,
I met Count Dracula here.
not to like go on another tangent, but like I think it was like in Batman Tales of the Dark Knight, it was like an animated movie thing. I don't know
Yeah.
if you guys saw that.
Yes.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
they do that as well in
Oh
there,
yeah.
where Batman like appears bigger in people's eyes than he is, and all of that
Mm.
stuff. And
Some people think he's
I
a
think there's only
robot. Yeah.
one. I think there's only one shot. There's only one like in the one shots where it tells it from Batman's perspective, something about pain or whatever when he's going to his training and
Is
something.
it
I
not
think that's the only one.
Gotham by Night? I think Batman Gotham
No,
by Night.
not Gotham by Night. I think it's Tales of Gotham or Tales of the
Yeah,
Batman
it
or
was
something.
some anime-esque type.
No, I remember it very well.
Yeah.
And I know the one you're talking about, those skateboarding kids, right?
Mm.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
we've
yeah.
we've
And
got
then
that.
also there's the policeman and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
The
So
other one that
Batman
they
is on
did,
fire. At
the
the end.
other one where they did it was also, I believe, the one with the smiley face with the eyes. What's the name of that movie?
The smiley face with 3 eyes.
I keep on imagining that big blue guy with a penis. What's his name now?
Oh, wow. Is this animated or live action?
It was live action. It was based from
Oh,
a graphic
Watchmen.
novel.
Watchmen.
Watchmen.
Oh,
There you go.
Watchmen.
Oh,
Oh.
blue penis. That's funny.
But that's how I remember.
You mean
I-
I'm calling Watchmen blue penis from now on.
Dr. Manhattan?
every
Yeah.
time I watch that movie. You know, the sad thing is, I convinced my dad to come watch the movie with me. The
Oh.
way I felt so embarrassed, I was like,
Oh no.
You know what? I'm happy you brought that up. I mean, obviously, I don't know the ending yet, but I did think of Watchmen while I was watching this. Because it's got a lot of similarities in terms of deconstructing the genre. It's a detective story, multiple
Right.
perspectives. I was kind of like, oh, Watchmen, but with
We've looped.
robots.
yeah, we've
Yeah.
looked
And
back.
even
Yay.
even Mont Blanc is basically
Miss Dr. Manhattan.
No, he's the
he's like
comedian, I
comedian.
guess.
Yeah, he's
Oh
the
yeah,
Because it starts
comedian,
with
but like a
his
way
death.
better,
the
way
first
better
person who dies.
reputation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay, no, I get you.
So
And you could say we do have an Ozymandias here, but yeah, anyway. So
I don't think he was Ozymandias. But anyway,
we'll find out. Stop spoiling
yeah,
things
that's
for us, my young
find
man.
out next time.
Find out
So,
in the next episode of.
going back to the story, yeah, like we said, Gazinkt is waking up, seems to have dreams, you know.
Mm.
He then discovers that okay, Mont Blanc is dead, and he's basically investigated. There's another case that he's busy with, actually.
Yeah, he finds that there's a murder. Some lady, I don't know if it's a lady or a guy. Poor thing, dead.
Was an advocate of those robot laws, basically.
No, well, apparently, like what he's doing is like it's like kind of following a trend because like Mont Blanc was like beloved by everybody, and he
Yes.
was like one of the world's most favorite robots and all of that stuff.
Literally
And
stopped a war, caused people to stop fighting without any bloodshed. It's like, how?
Yeah.
Did you drug them? I was thinking at that point, like, I think we need a Mont Blanc right now, because what's happening in a certain country right now, I will not name because this video might be taken down. They certainly need a lot of peace.
Yeah, well, yeah. And then also like what's this? And then the guy who also gets killed is like an advocate for robot rights. So it seems like it's correlated in a sense that like whoever's doing these things to the robots is also doing these things to robot advocates.
Yes.
All of that stuff.
And what I also like is like you can see that this guy also deduces things like a machine, you know? Because only a machine would think, this could be a machine that kills. I need data from the only other machine that kills I can think of. Oh, it's over there.
Which is sort of like a Silence of the Lambs. Well, I've never really watched the movie, but for me,
I haven't watched the movie, but like I know the reference. It's always like when they like in the Batman they did it when Batman goes to go talk to Joker, even though they deleted the scene and all of that stuff. Yeah.
So basically, he goes to see a robot that killed someone 8 years ago.
Yeah.
And this robot basically, obviously, it's an AI, and basically the people tried to figure out why it did this. They analyzed it. They tried to figure out if there's a malfunction, and there was nothing. They couldn't find anything. And this robot is proud to say that to the detective. Look,
like you must be. They are so terrified. They don't that and they're too scared to even kill me right now. It's like wow, so proud.
Yeah, didn't they put like a tank in front of him in case something
Yeah,
happens?
and they stabbed him. And I'm just like, also, this is red flag number one. Don't make these things. Everybody that's busy with AI now, no. Like, I think we could.
Microsoft just hired the guy from I think OpenAI to
Who's that?
Oh
develop
Lord.
AI. So
Because
thanks,
Okay.
because
Bill Gates.
I'm
no,
just saying,
because he got fired from the
Yeah.
current company because he told everyone we need to regulate this shit. It's going
Mm,
to go crazy real fast.
mm.
And then you're fired, and then Microsoft was like, fine.
Yeah. Weird.
no, but I'm just saying,
Skynet
every
in real
piece of
life.
sci-fi media, I can't remember one like piece of sci-fi media where this goes well. I don't know one.
Her works out pretty well.
I'm
What
sure
happens in her?
He
I haven't
basically, well, it doesn't actually end up the greatest. So he basically dates his robot companion,
ew.
and then she dumps him.
Okay,
It's a
that's
really good
not.
movie.
How is that better?
Yeah, they don't take over the world. She just dumps him and then hooks up with another AI because she's like, "Nigga, you boring."
Basic AF.
Oh,
Yeah.
Now we should look up the term.
It would be interesting if that is actually the prequel to the Joker. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix was done.
wait, is that the Joaquin Phoenix movie where he is that the Joaquin Phoenix movie where he falls in love with his phone?
Yeah, that one.
Oh, uh, this AI is not looking good, bro. Every piece of sci-fi media is like it's eventually gonna kill us.
Love, Death, and Robots is also another example.
We
Well,
should.
I mean, unless you have like an R2D2 or a BB-8, then
Yeah, well, they got
For
the
every
Force, so none of
R2D2,
those robots.
no. Be warned, guys. For every R2D2 out there, there's also a chopper, and if we all the rebels fans know what chopper did, so that's not.
Yeah. Well, there's
Yeah,
Metabots. I mean, imagine a world with Metabots. I could live in that world.
but you remember what happened?
yeah. But what if it turns into Transformers where they're downing cities every 5 minutes?
But if you remember Metabots, you remember there was a war because of the Metabots. You don't remember this?
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
the Metabots themselves chose not to continue with this war. They just thought, "Damn, we fucked up. Oh
Yeah.
hell no, we never do this ever again. We're gonna stay being toys." Like I remember the villain was like, "Now you know the truth. Take over the world." And then she's like, "Well, I
No.
think I was having fun being a toy."
Yeah.
No, like, what are you doing? Take
Yeah.
us back.
Yeah, like I'm saying, for every Metabots there might be a Skynet and the Terminators.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
Nah, you're right.
Another property I hope that we can touch on in the future is Ghost in the Shell, man. The anime, I'm not talking about the live action. Like
Scarlett
that.
Johansson is such a good, talented actress. She deserves that role. Fight me.
Okay. Anyway.
You don't believe that, but it's okay.
Anyway, yeah.
The
See,
way
this is what
I was
This is what
ignored.
happens when you watch dub. That's what happens. The same thing.
So, yeah. Basically, this detective is just going around trying to figure out what the issue is. And I think what's interesting about this is he's not the only detective in the show.
Yeah.
You know, because you do see.
Which is something, oh, sorry to interrupt, but it's something very refreshing. You know, I'm sick and tired of this high case murder and then there's just one detective working on the case. Are you sure that's how they works in the real world? I'm pretty sure that many people working in different angles in the same,
In the same
especially the
case.
more high profile the case becomes. They
Yeah.
don't just leave it with one person. One person is in charge of getting the intel. One person is decoding the crime scene. The other person is doing something.
Interviewing
It's a teamwork. That's why there's a department
Yes.
which works for us. And the bigger the case, the more hands-on people
You
get.
don't like the grizzled cop who doesn't play by the rules.
Who uses unorthodox methods to solve crimes.
Tell me where the witness is.
In this world,
In a world.
one man can bring in a world where one man can bring justice to the city.
And he says stuff like, "This city is not big enough for the both of us." You're like, what?
I work alone.
I don't need a badge to solve this crime. Yeah, you do. Actually, right here it says you probably need this badge. Like you can't just.
I like the.
And he has to give up his badge during the climax,
Yeah.
and he's still gonna do the job regardless. Like, come
You
on.
know what? You don't need to fire me, coach, cause I quit. Bah! See you in
Give me
hell.
your badge. Give me your badge. Get out of here.
You're off the department, Jones. Do you hear me? You're out.
Meanwhile,
I
they're
don't
saying,
need this department.
Know
I'm
what
a
your
lone
problem
wolf.
is, detective? You don't know how
meanwhile,
to play with others.
they're saying this to like Eddie Murphy, bro.
Yes.
In a buddy cop movie, you're like, this guy, come on.
I have a theory. I feel like Eddie Murphy. Wow, sorry, another Will Smith reference. I feel like Eddie Murphy was replaced by Hollywood by Will Smith.
Yes.
I feel like if you think about who the
Yes.
biggest actor was, and then when Eddie Murphy's star kind of at the same time Will Smith was. It's weird.
I feel like in between those was Wesley Snipes.
I feel you, but different movies. You know what I mean?
No.
I could see Eddie Murphy being in Men in Black.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I get you.
Or Wild West.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that one was bad. So
Yeah. But
like,
back to
Pluto.
I was about to say back to robots. Back to
Yeah.
Pluto.
You know,
So in episode 1, basically, Gazik starts chasing down like the suspected person that they found
Yes.
or whatever. Like they get a description. That's episode 1, right?
yes,
Yeah,
when
and then
he
he finds
jumps off the bridge to and is nothing is wrong with him. Like if you didn't even know
I mean,
that
I think that's when you get the plot twist that he's a robot. Because
Yeah.
I'll tell you now, when I was watching it, I didn't think he was a bot until he pulled that jump, and I was like, oh, okay, he's obviously not human. But I don't know. It's also anime, and humans in anime be doing some,
For me, it was when he tanked a blow to the head from the same weapon that killed another robot. It's like, oh, not only are you just not a robot, you are a much better robot.
I'm not gonna lie, I was with you guys because I was like, is he a robot? But then at the same time, I was like, but then why is he married? But then after a while, I kind of let it go. I was like, okay, I guess robots get married in this world.
But that's the beauty of Naoki Urasawa's writing. He makes you think as often as he possibly can.
Yeah.
You start questioning certain things as you are going. And I think that's why, you see, I compare him with Christopher Nolan in a sense that you just have to watch something that he does more than once. Because the second time around, you're like, oh, yeah, all right.
There it is.
No.
Yeah.
Then there was then he puts him to sleep with his gun. I don't know how that happens.
Well, it explains that because he's a robot. Do you remember that robot, according to the robot laws, they're not
Yes.
allowed to kill. So it's non-lethal sleeping gas.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then he tells the robot wife that her robot husband is dead.
That was sad.
It was sad. And then they also give him like, oh wait, here
I don't know. I was like, all right, I guess, I guess.
we had a
Like,
child,
you don't
but
mess
it was
with these
a human
robots, man.
child.
I don't know, man. I'm over allegories. I'm honestly.
Yeah, but also sometimes when I
Mr. Buckmeister, you're the youngest of the four of us. You can't be this cynical.
It's robots, man. It's like every time Optimus Prime dies, they rebuild him. So it's just like, okay.
Yeah, I wanted to get there. Like when I was watching this, I was thinking, Thomas, can't you just like repair? Isn't there like a repair company?
Yeah, I was about to. Yeah, because then I found your husband's memory chip. Okay, put it inside me.
Yeah, but the thing is that the
From the
whole
back,
thing is like
please.
the
I
AI
was
is tied
like-
to more than just memories.
That's why.
and all
That's
that
why I
stuff,
had
so.
to ask that question: is the memory chip thing an allegory for Snoo Snoo? Because they seem to want to do it a lot.
Mm. Mm.
On that note,
Only Urasawa knows, my brother. We have no idea.
Yeah.
you know the answers to these questions. Don't forget to comment below.
No.
Comment down below if you know
Down
that.
below.
Is robots
And
sex?
that's not in a window, please. Down below means down below. Comment down below. Below the video, all right? Just comment below this
Don't
video.
go too low. Don't go too low.
Any else?
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
I don't know. Just below the video, like below time, views, all of that.
Mm. Don't press the wrong
Okay,
buttons.
no. Okay. Oh, my stomach. Okay. Breathe.
You
Anyway,
started this,
you started
Mr.
this,
Mr. Chip.
you know what?
Ah,
I feel like
answered
our
honest,
backgrounds.
innocent
I feel like our
question.
backgrounds are
Mr.
connected
Brain Chip.
to our personalities for this episode. He came
What?
with fire, bro. You came with you came with all the heat and the smoke today. You know, feel us all chilled and
Yeah.
you
No,
know.
I didn't. This is coming from people accusing me of being a super spy.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
only super spies would try and turn a chip into something that is not, try and
But
turn a chip, twist a chip somehow.
uh-oh.
can I be blamed? I just saw the way they were talking about these chips, and then how that prisoner robot was like, "Let us these chips." So like, why? You can just ask questions.
Yeah, but
Am I wrong?
I think what I liked about that scene where he gives the wife her husband's chip is she saw something, you know. She was able to see something that he probably might have missed. So I think that's the whole point of this chip trading thing where yeah, I don't want to spoil it, but I think Buckmaster knows what I'm talking about, where this chip sharing thing allows another robot to be able to detect something that the other one probably didn't. So it's a smart way
But
of
like that, it's also like a weird deviation also because now it's like, is the AI so advanced that it can make mistakes? Because it's just like it basically means that they
Wow.
went full circle. Like humanity just went full circle and just made more powerful humans that are just going to be problematic for them.
That's what I got from the get-go because there was the other thing that showed me that these machines are somewhat capable of being more human than that, which means they're capable of making mistakes. We've got this guy having his never-ending dreams, and then a little further on we go to that musician scene, which was boring. I don't care what people have to say. I'm sorry. Where okay, let me
You
not
talk
come.
about me having a heart of stone.
God,
Jeez.
I do get what you're saying because they sort of raised our expectations. Then it just goes back. It just goes to this arc that is so slow paced.
look, but I just wanted to highlight that that machine desires to stay away from war. You know what I mean? So in that case, of course, that it means they're becoming more human in that by that extent alone, they are capable of error.
I mean, I get why the second half of this episode, and I'm not trying to defend it. Like, I understand why the second half of the episode was super slow, but I also understand its function because it's kind of because I mean, if we're gonna go through the motion of these robots are the robots that are well known of being assassinated or whatever, then we're supposed to feel for it and connect to it, and we're supposed to
Yeah,
care. So that second half was like, you should care, you
yeah,
should care.
and
They
also
are people, and I was
it's
like, I got it.
I got it the first 15 minutes, guys.
Yeah.
Let it go.
No,
I'm not that dense.
it's
but
like trying to
did you
get
get
But
it?
let me but when I say it, okay.
No, I
Mm-hmm.
agree with you. I didn't say you're wrong.
it's like also like trying to get this
And
stubborn
yeah.
the stubborn hard headed
Stink meaner. Say it. That is stink meaner.
the stick mina type character, racist.
Ah,
What did
I
you
was like,
say, nigga? You telling me to love these robots,
I
nigga?
was like, he's blind. He's blind. He hates machines, and he doesn't. And he seems to beat down anything that machine creates.
Stop
Can you
playing the
remind?
piano.
I was waiting for that.
Piano.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Aren't you guys over that trope now of like the servant having to teach the old person not to be racist in movies? Like, I'm so
Empathy.
over it. Like the
Empathy.
Driving Miss Daisy movie.
Yeah.
I'm so
Yeah,
over it, dog. Like, fuck.
And I
yeah,
think
yeah. I
also
mean,
remembering what time period this thing really came out in from the jump, like in 2003 versus 2008. I guess that's the problem of animating projects that are old, if that makes sense.
yeah, you run into a lot of old things.
Yeah, you run into a lot of old tropes. I think that's the
True.
issue. even though, yes, we are focusing more on AI now, but the fact that we have these storylines that have old and tired
I just
concepts, it's
I just hope someone out there's gonna put a picture. It says like there's going to be a picture of this guy equals and then Stink Mina.
I
And
mean,
then just
not
then
way
put it on
before
the internet.
Stintina, but I get you.
And then we just throw it
But I
into
mean,
the
also, like, I guess also when you get to the end of that arc, they do, like, it's unlike how, like, it's a good thing that it takes time for him to change. I think like one of the things that hurts that trope so much is that they like kind of almost change instantly where they're like, oh, I'm not racist anymore. Like they are robots actually. Like they've
Like
just been programmed with a chip or whatever.
you
But
stop
like
racist.
and North number two does things where it changes this guy. And also like the last thing that he
that
does
is
was so impactful. And it
and
was
has
like the
the
thing
most
that's yeah.
disturbing singing voice I've ever heard in my entire life. I thought it'd be able to like get programming for your singing voice, child. It's okay. Oh, I was expecting something beautiful. It's like, oh wow, it's okay.
I'm sure
Okay,
that
so
voice
you let
actor was
and
like,
then
guys, I'm sure that voice actor was like, guys, my singing is garbage, right? Like, dude, we're not gonna pay any other
action.
singer. This is not Disney, ne? We're not Disney here. We're not gonna get like a voice actor here. So
damn.
I was like,
But like
I
I
was like, for the
think what
life
they
of
could
God,
have done,
these
what
crimes
I think
must
they could have
hurt.
done for North number two, I think what they could have done is they could have just had the mom's voice come out of his mouth.
Yes, it's a
ooh,
machine.
yeah. Oh wow. But it would have been a loophole because it would have been like not a loophole. What's that? A plot hole because we would have been like,
No,
how
not
was not
necessarily, because you could say that when he went to the village, he just found somebody who could sing it in the same key as the mom could sing it, and then he just
there was a
recorded her
report
voice.
or something? Yeah, no, yeah.
Oh, you could have just taken the old man's voice recording. It's like, oh, he's singing beautiful. Listen, oh, they should learn. Oh yeah, correction. There is a world where robots actually are a good thing in the world, sort of, kind of,
Mm-hmm.
kind of. Except with exception for one. Oh, it was like the humans who messed it up, but the robots are actually doing fine. Um, Baymax.
Well, Baymax was fine,
Big Hero 6.
Big Hero
but
6.
But he's
Yeah.
the only
he's the only
robot.
one. He was the only.
No, there are other robots there.
No, the
The
nanobots were monstrous termite eating things. Like Baymax was the only one. And also he wasn't like programmed for combat things. He was like a medical bot or whatever.
but
Yeah,
I,
Baymax is like the R2D2 of that world in a way.
but I thought there was like it's a world where they had even underground fighting clubs because of the different types of robotics.
Maybe we need to
Yeah,
watch.
but I'm saying those weren't like AI. Like Baymax is the only one that's AI. Those ones are like controlled or whatever.
Okay. Okay. We'll see.
Anytime the robot can think for itself, I mean, there've been reports of this in real life where apparently they tried to make an AI computer and it switched itself off because it realized that it was supposed to be for the environment. So it realized that if it goes on, it's going to hurt the environment. So they tried to switch it on and it kept switching itself off.
Quantum predictive technology, something that we still can't manage to create. I keep telling these robotic. Oh, sorry, this is a different topic for a different group of people.
And then
Anyways,
another instance was the two robots started talking to each other in a language nobody could understand. So the scientists panicked and turned it off. It's just like,
Kill
I don't know
them.
how many signs you guys need. I don't know how
Kill
many signs
them.
you guys need. It's like real life kybers. I don't know how much stuff you guys need to happen before you realize maybe this is not the greatest idea.
Haven't you watched Age of Ultron? Haven't you watched iRobot? Haven't you watched any other thing?
rather before
Bro,
iRobot, before haven't you watched Skynet? I mean
Haven't you watched
Terminator.
2001: A Space Odyssey that came out in the 60s?
True.
But anyway, going back to this thing.
Pella Ultron wanted to kill us just by scanning the internet. I'm just
Yeah.
like,
Whoa.
True. And it's
Big ass
gotten much worse
Just
since then.
just reading those Jada comments is like, no.
Now, imagine if it's back then they just had Tumblr. Now we've got Twitter. So imagine if it's
I mean, it would
yeah,
be
we got 4chan.
it would be a
Only
plot
fans,
twist
though.
if
and
like
Reddit. Oh my
It would be a
gosh.
plot twist if like Elon Musk is a robot this whole time, and he's trying to
Nah.
help fellow people, and
Oh,
he's like, and
Zuckerberg.
then he takes or Zuckerberg, and then he's like, I would have gotten away with it too.
If it wasn't for those 4 meddling kids on the
You just said Elon Musk. Some of our laptops are gonna go crazy at this rate. Like these motherfuckers, they do not learn.
So anyone who's been following the podcast, here's the Will Smith counter is here, the Elon Musk counter is over there.
Yeah, you'll
know-
decide which aisle you wanna go to.
One day when you have our big ass set and people will be watching us all over the world, we're gonna have a Will Smith counter. Who knows? Maybe we might even invite him. Hi, Will. Yo, we'll get a clothesline
in
right there
West
from the back.
Philadelphia, born and raised.
Hey, wow.
I spend most of my days, so like, okay, we already know that, but okay.
So
Speaking of Philly, segue back.
yeah.
you know,
So yeah,
it took me a while to realize this thing isn't happening in quote unquote Japan. It's like, oh wait, they're talking about different places in the world. They're talking about him having to go visit Japan for a holiday.
because it's
Mm.
that's true. I mean, look.
Well, his name
Naoki
is Gizik,
Urasawa
so
does
I'm
have a
assuming he's a European. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, he
I
works for
get that.
Europol.
Yes.
from
Right.
Europol, yeah. Like Naoki Urasawa, one of the tropes. I remember there's a YouTube channel called Comic Tropes. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with it, but the guy basically just would profile different comic book creators, and he would read a comic and then pick up some tropes, common tropes that he finds in the writing of these comic book creators or whatever. And he did one of Naoki Urasawa, and he says that Naoki Urasawa seems to be fascinated with Germany. There's always like a German name or a German location or German history or German something, even in monsters.
I can't
Yeah.
wait for him to look at Tito Kuba and says like, this man is fascinated with Spain. Yeah, it's the biggest boner for Spanish stuff. He must be Latina. And then I don't know.
I mean, I don't know if that added to the dub, but did it make the dub a bit better? Because it's not set in Japan and they can technically use their English voices and it doesn't make it jarring. Did it make it better or not really?
I don't think so. I think like because for me with anime, it's just what hits my ear nicely. Like
Yeah.
I guess like when they're pronouncing German names in Japanese, it does like kind of throw me off a little bit. But like outside of that, it's like nah, it's just about what hits the ear nicely. I don't necessarily look for accuracy in an anime.
Like when I was watching the Helsing dub, like for me that slapped because I was like, oh shit, like British accents, they're doing the whole thing. It was weird to watch it that was the one time where I thought the dub was.
Yeah, thank you. I think I just noticed I added to the group of dub shows that are actually quite nice. Because
But sorry, Mr. Extraordinary.
No problem. I just wanted to ask you guys a question. Now that we're
Aye.
talking about this, like, sometimes when you're watching, like, I'll give you 2 examples that come to mind. Either Blue Lagoon or what's the other one that I was thinking about now?
Blue or black?
Sorry,
I think
Black
Lagoon, isn't it?
Thank you so much. Sorry about that. Black Lagoon, or there's also Witch Hunter Robin, I think. Even Evangelion, where Beck is the one that I was thinking about.
Stick to the sub.
where in the original script, right? I'll use Beck as an example. In the original script, you find that you have a character that's one of the main characters who is multilingual, and in the sub, this multilingual character, when dealing with Americans or Europeans, would speak English. But in the dub, when they do it, they sort of, you would hear them saying, "Oh, so you speak English," but it's dub the whole time. Doesn't that bother you guys?
Sometimes.
Back, but I imagine
I mean, like
it wouldn't.
in Psycho Pass, what they did is they would just have people speak English with the Japanese accent, and that would always throw me off.
Oh no!
Because like they would be like, yeah, nanda to deska, what, and then all of a sudden it'd be like, you're going to have to kill me. And I'm just like, wait, what? Why are we doing this?
You know?
I don't know
You
if you
won't
remember
take
that
me
dude.
down today.
Do you remember
And I'm
that
like,
dude, the
what is
American
this?
guy from Gans? Do you remember the American guy from Gans? The guy who used to speak English. I think it's like the second half of Gans. It was hilarious. This is a guy who insists, like in the original Japanese like language, there's a guy who insists on speaking English while he's walking around with everybody and they're all getting killed and stuff. But his English is like horrible. So he's like, what do you think they are doing?
Oh my God.
You know, like, oh no,
You know who
what
is like-
that?
if you watched the 1,000-Year Blood War arc, the black guy who creates Zanpakuto in Bleach,
Oh no.
how he speaks American.
annoying.
What is that? What is this? What is this?
Hello, everybody's the body.
What is this?
I have to catch up. I have to catch up.
You'll catch up without me.
He's a really cool black character, and when he opened his mouth, I was like, oh god.
What is this thing you're talking about? I've never heard of it.
Aizen died. That was the end of Bleach, man.
You know, when Aizen stopped and the full bringers came back and was like, oh, Ichigo got his powers back. Yay, the end. So what's this? You guys should stop pretending that fan fiction is actually a real thing. It's really gonna confuse us.
Anyway, going back to this thing, I think also the world building is really good. I mean, the infrastructure in this thing is amazing, man. Did you see those roads? Jeez.
The drawing style, the attention to detail. These guys got paid. Those animators got paid. They've got a retirement from this series. I am so convinced like they're well off now. After this, I was like, I mean, yeah, sure, that part was ridiculously boring, but that flashback when they were showing the sunset and the light, or in the light when this kid was busy chasing after his mom. And all the crazy stuff, and you could see all the lighting and the different angles, and it's like, do you know how long it took to make that scene look just like that? It doesn't happen overnight. It's beautiful.
Even the moment where he started losing his eyesight.
Like, guys, people,
that was amazing.
These people were paid. They were paid. They're like, they thought, no, it's gonna take about 4 years. Yeah, I bet. So what? Like, how much do you want?
All they were not paid.
Because I saw that JJK fight scene and I was like, bro, these guys didn't get paid for this. Oh my god.
Oh god.
Hey, but that's the worst cliffhanger. That's the worst real life cliffhanger of all time. Like now we can't
the Bleach. Yo.
In real life, bro. Because we can't watch JJK now. You can continue watching JJK.
You can read the manga.
Oh, that's why you're in the darkness. You're the dark side right today. Yes, let me join Backmaster. Mr. Extraordinary, give yourself to the manga.
To the manga.
It is the only way to find out what happens. Yes.
I shall
Your
not
thoughts betray you.
We will know all of the story, Mr. Extraordinary. Join us.
No, I will not give in to the manga. I shall be a hardcore anime man.
Like my father before me.
Wait.
The manga has more plot twists than you can even imagine.
Hold on. We need to get this scene right. I'll be right back.
Oh, no. What is he getting? Yeah, no, it's still Pluto, guys.
I thought you guys
What a
might
tangent.
Star Wars out of your system.
Clearly not.
Hey, Darth Vader is goated, man.
True.
We will rule together. We will rule the galaxy. Join me.
Out of curiosity's sake, not that we have to talk about it, but have you guys finished Blue Eyed Samurai already? Well, I mean, I know you have.
Yeah.
No, not yet. I need to push. I need to push on that.
Have you finished it?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
I've joined the dark side league.
So
you said you're an anime reader like your father before you.
Yes, I am.
So be it. Oh, Taku.
Yeah.
If you will not be turned, you will be destroyed.
All hail the Emperor.
I feel like Palpatine is one of the characters that really enjoys being a villain.
Oh yeah, no, no, yeah. Like I told you, he's like
without making it look childish. Like he enjoys it, man. Like when he's fighting Yoda, it's like you're like, yo, relax.
he was having the time of his life. He got everything he wanted.
Yeah.
I mean, he even says
No,
it's like,
when he's fighting Luke and he's like zapping Luke, you can even see it in the actor's face. He's like,
young fool. Only now, in the end, do you understand? Your feeble skills are no match for the power of the dark side. Okay. The guy was.
I think he was
hours
zapping people on his off time. I think like he was walking around the office just being like, ha 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 ha. Like, oh, hey.
I should say this. When he says that, I'm gonna say this. Like your overconfidence is your weakness. Your faith in your friends is yours.
Anyway,
back to Pluto. Back to Pluto. No more tangents. Pull away from the dark side. So episode 2, right? That's when I don't know who
we meet the other detective, which is
we meet the other detectives, right?
Who is a famous character in Astro Boy? Actually, he's like the main detective in Astro Boy.
Isn't he supposed to be just okay? Let's ask questions because I haven't watched Astro Boy. Let me not ask too many questions.
Okay,
but
so again, can somebody? I mean, I've been also watching like I've been in the middle of Yu-Gi-Oh and Morikaku, so I'm missing some details.
So the guy who wrote the robot laws is the one we find hung up on a tree or something.
Oh, is this episode 2?
Yeah.
I saw the beginning.
Yeah, this is episode 2.
Yeah, so they're basically trying to figure out if this was a suicide or if whatever. I mean, the horns were there.
They did give away.
Yeah. So
for me, I think it's like we are working with a serial killer, and they're like trying to figure it out, and it's got that cool detective thriller type of vibe. We don't get jump scares, which is thankful. I'm not a fan of jump scares, but we do get a moment where you ponder and think like, what the hell's going on? The other show that it came across, especially when there was that big cloud thing, and Northwest 2.5 million. What is his name again? North what?
North
number 2.
North number 2. Why did I call him Northwest? Why am I thinking of Kanye West?
No one robot should have all that power.
Yeah.
That's another unmentionable name for the internet, but all right.
Anyway, so when he was fighting him, there was a big cloud forming in the skies, and there was the whole energy battle happening in the heavens. And it kind of reminded me of that.
I'm not a fan of that cloud, guys, honestly. But sorry, go ahead.
It kind of reminded me of that show, Raising Darren or Demon or something like that, where there was this kid with superpowers.
Oh, Raising Dion, I think. Raising Dion.
Yes. There's like, oh wait, this is almost exactly like the same thing. It happened in that season. Big ugly cloud takes away all, comes to fight against all, quote unquote, powerful entities in this particular universe. Like, were they sharing notes?
Yeah, like I haven't watched the show you guys are talking about, but remember this initially came out in 2003 to 2009. So you could
say, I guess it predates a lot of this stuff. Does it predate Silver Surfer? Because they also did that in the Fantastic Four Silver Surfer, where Galactus is just a big cloud.
Was I pissed?
It does.
Was I pissed? Look.
Okay, wait. What tangent? No, back to Pluto.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
he activated his trap card. I activate tangent.
Anti-tangent.
This is where they realize that this is an international issue. Like this is not just a small issue, because this detective, because this happens in Japan, I'm assuming, if I remember correctly. So that's when they realize that there's been another murder elsewhere in the world with Mont Blanc. So this is where they start now comparing notes with other detectives from
By doing the
other
thing.
parts of the world. Pardon?
By doing the robots were doing the thing that I was asking about. As well.
Yes.
Not mentioned. They did the
Yes.
thing. Which is
so-
kind of weird now that I've mentioned it, because now I'm thinking it's episode 2 and that's a child, so I can't really make that allegory anymore. So that's kind of gross.
Let's not
So it
touch
doesn't
that.
make sense.
No.
I officially retract my question. Okay, let the records show that question I asked a few minutes earlier. Bleep it out in your mind. I never asked it. I'm gonna gaslight all of you.
So basically, this
Nah.
is been introduced to Atom, who is basically the main character in Osamu Tezuka's Astro Boy. That's Astro Boy, but obviously now they're using his Japanese name. It's like,
Yeah.
calling a character Kakaroto.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah,
what
like
Son
calling.
Kun.
Pardon?
Or Son
Yeah,
Kun.
or yeah.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
usually
because he's
call him
like
Son.
yeah.
Sorry,
In
I can't-
Japanese they say his son, I guess, right?
Yeah,
Do they call
or
him Goku or do they just always say Son Goku
Oh, Son
and
Goku.
Son
It's
Gohan?
Son Goku or Son. I've heard Krillin say Son. Oh, Krillin. Sorry.
Krillin.
Oh,
Krillin say
I-
Son.
or
also,
Joey
how did
becoming
Goku get the
Jonichi.
surname? Anyway, that's a tangent. Never mind.
I
Going.
was just saying the other name they also use is Jonichi-kun from instead of Joey in Yu-Gi-Oh!
Oh yeah.
Or Anzin sort of tear. I don't know where tear came from.
Someone was
Find
thirsty.
out. Oh.
So they-
It wasn't me this time.
So
It
we
was
meet
not me this
Atom.
time.
So we meet Atom.
Okay, we meet Atom. There you go. Atom.
And I think it's raining. I think he's looking at a snail, and this fascinates Gazinkt for some weird reason. Then
I
they
was so sure he was gonna smash the poor thing. I was like, oh, there's some dumb kid. I know kids are cruel, and then like there was a break, and then there was like, oh, he picked up a slugger. Oh, don't kill it, child, no.
Mm.
But then it turns
So
out, oh,
obviously, yeah, they have coffee, and then that's when we discover that this is not just any ordinary kid that this guy met.
Wait, does the episode end with them talking?
no,
No.
it starts with him greeting him, and then it continues from there on.
These things are an
Yeah.
hour long. But I think
Yeah. Okay.
if this was not an hour long, I think the episode probably would have ended there, where he sees Astro Atom.
No, that's where the episode ended. Yes,
No.
Yeah. I'm saying I get what Mr.
episode 1. That is.
Or episode
No,
one.
episode-
Oh,
I see
okay.
what you mean.
Yeah,
No,
episode
wait,
2
episode
continues
one
from
and
there.
wait. So episode 1 ends with him
death
meeting Atom,
In the rain, when he was about to cry, when he was looking at the
Oh.
snail.
right? And then episode 2 is when they in the restaurant and
Yes.
Atom is
Yeah.
eating things and saying it's tasty, which is also just like, wait, so the robots can taste things, like, or they can
But also-
simulate taste, or what does that mean?
My question is, what happens to the food? Do they?
Well,
The
he
toilet-
went to the toilet,
No, but he didn't do what he was supposed to do in the toilet. He went there to cry.
which means there has to be something creating the necessary tears.
No, but remember what he said. He said he's not going there to do a number one. He's just going there so that he
Pretends.
pretends to be doing it.
I think this is where some of like the logic gets a little bit confusing for me, but
Don't
I'm
break
like,
the
that's not
immersion.
the point of the story. It's not the
Yeah.
point.
Because doesn't
The
it
food
mess up your
goes.
wiring?
The food goes where it needs to go. Apparently, you know.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
goes to make it goes to make you more sleeping gas.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
So basically, yeah, that's where they're trying to figure out, the correlation between all of this, because the detective is telling him, and that's when we realize that, okay, basically, Atom is sort of like a peace ambassador of sorts, because while other of the robots were actually in war, like North Number 2 and Hercules and what's that other guy? Forgot his name. I
Mont
think
Blanc.
Brando.
Brando, Mont Blanc.
Blanc, yeah.
While they were actually like fighting their kind, Astro was busy parading, waving to people, hey, what up? So anyway, they share information, and Astro says, look, I'll just take what I need from your memories. There's no need for me to check other stuff.
Atom, dog.
Yeah, Atom. Atom. So they share that information, then they depart. And based on everything that Atom saw, that's when he goes to the toilet and starts weeping because it's like, wow. Which is sort of like a Charles Xavier moment for me, because Charles Xavier has empathy. If you remember First Class,
Okay, I got
reading
that.
Magneto's mind and seeing his childhood and all of that. I
Those
don't,
two were dating. Fight me.
I'm not sure if you guys want to add anything to that.
Yeah, that
No.
was. Oh, go ahead, Pillar.
Oh, okay. No, I was just gonna say not. I mean, it's we saw the flashes of, well, brief flashes of the character's backstory a little bit in episode 1. So I guess
I also
in
like the way
episode
he lied,
2,
the way the detective tried to lie through not exchanging memories, and the guy was like, "Bruh, you can lie to me."
Mm.
You mean
mm,
Atom lying about?
Yeah, because he just sat there and looked at it like,
Yeah, because he went to.
true.
Oh, yeah.
Atom
I
did
see
go.
what you're saying.
Where did he go again? He went to. I know he went to two places. The first place that he went to was the detective, because he was trying to help them with the investigation. He went there, and then he went to the offices, and then they replayed the entire.
Sorry,
Mm.
Pillar. You were saying something before we cut you off. My bad.
No, it's fine. Go ahead.
Oh, okay, cool.
Sorry, man. Yeah, so they went back to the crime scene, and it's weird because I thought that the detective would be more welcoming, but he's on time. Hey, what are you doing here?
like I've got,
And I'm
I've
like,
got
aren't you
access.
guys buddies in the original manga?
No.
Yeah,
Well, also it's that thing that the Bella was talking about earlier, where like the detectives don't feel like they have any place anymore because the robot detectives can have X-rays and they can see everything, and so.
oh yeah.
That was funny though, because it's kind of like, but even if he's a robot, what gives him jurisdiction to just be a detective now? It was
But
kind of just like, I'm here now.
I think this goes back to something Rob said about if you don't understand the law of, like, you were talking about a DC movie, and it's like if you're not a comic book fan, some things will fly over your head, right?
Mm.
So with Astro, when I saw that, I'm assuming that Astro had already been saving the Japanese citizens from certain, robots
Aliens
that
and
wanted
stuff.
to
Yeah.
destroy. Yeah, robots that wanted to like destroy the place and whatever.
Mm.
So he's been liaising with, he's been working hand in hand with the cops.
Oh, so in this universe, he's not just an ambassador; he's a crime fighter.
He's a crime
Well,
fighter.
the thing is, when they sent him to be an ambassador, he was told he was sent under the pretense of going to go fight.
Yes.
So,
Oh,
like
so he
that,
is Astro Boy in this world. Sorry, I was just under the impression that it was
in a
just a
sense.
diplomat.
No, I think in a sense, he's not Astro Boy like
I know.
Astro Boy, but like yeah.
Yeah.
And then also like he does mention that because he had Gizik's memories, he was able to access like Gizik's protocols and find like a way to get clearance to be on the scene.
Yes. Oh yeah, because also, I
Yeah.
mean, if he has certain information that Gezinkt already has, that could be helpful to the Japanese detectives, because that's information that they are not privy to.
I know, but I don't know. Internal logic for me is if there's information about high class murders, you want to keep as little people in the know-how because
Yeah.
I mean these robots have the memory sticks that they can put amongst each other. So
Right.
if the enemy gets the memory stick, then he'll know what everybody else knows, and he just needs one from one robot. You know what I mean? But I'm thinking too far ahead.
Also, shout out to the. I sorry to keep bringing it back to the art style, but also shout out to the animators not making an overtly ridiculously handsome type character in the storyline so far.
Yeah.
I'm sick and tired. I'm sick and tired of the Gojos of the universe, and it's like everybody's like, "Make me I'm yours, daddy." And I'm thinking, guys, can you just enjoy the story? I mean, the main character has the biggest, ugliest nose I've ever seen in my life, and I'm thinking, and I'm enjoying every second of it because I can get to see him as a character instead of seeing him as a sex symbol. And props, thank you.
I think that's the good thing about Naoki Urasawa's art is that he makes sure that the character designs are either ridiculous looking or just someone you see off the street and say,
Mm.
Not
like,
House Moving Castle.
Andre.
Well, I don't know. Johan was pretty good looking in Monster, from what I saw. But I guess that was
Yeah,
Yeah, but that was part of his charm. It was part of what
yeah,
made him
like it's
evil.
part of the character. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not like you're just some random guy and you're a main character and you just happen to be like extremely good looking for no reason. You know, you know what I mean. So, yeah, I agree with you guys on that one. So yeah, basically he shows them some of the hidden stuff that they couldn't have seen. Who was having tea and stuff that was broken and that was hidden in the rubble. You know, which basically helps them with their investigation.
Oh no, I just got to understanding what this whole file sharing thing reminded me of.
Mm.
Ooh, you see, this is why we need Rob sometimes because he'll understand what the reference I'm gonna give him to gonna gonna go. This file sharing thing is like what the Proteus refer to as the color. Hmm.
What?
You
You're
see,
the only color I know. What is the color?
that's why I was like, I need Rob because Rob is the only person who plays StarCraft. He'll get what I'm talking about. It's like there's
Oh,
this, especially with some of the mechanical warriors called the Purifiers. They created an artificial sense of the color, which subroutines elevate each other's combat and working efficiencies by being in close proximity to each other. So I'm now going some deep StarCraft lore, but now I remember what this was reminding me of
this
because
is related to the memory chip sharing thing.
yeah, because you're telling me like this robot picked up something that other robot didn't, and that robot is gonna pick up something that this other robot didn't, and it's just like the color.
Oh, I get you.
In StarCraft, there's this thing called the color, which is basically the sacred union of every thought of emotion of these warriors called the Protoss. And we'll go into detail. I'll make a deep dive into the gaming lore one day, and then I'll let you know. I'll let you guys know why the Protoss are the best race and they're superior to those disgusting bugs. Now,
So,
back to normal viewing.
so basically after
This is not
that
exactly normal viewing, but okay.
I think after he goes to that detective and shares that information and they get a new discovery, he goes to this professor who is basically in the original manga, he is the professor who's basically taking care of him after Dr. Tenma lets him go. Um, and yeah, so he basically just tells him about what he's busy with, what he's doing.
Oh, this is Ochana right?
Yeah, autonomy. So this goes back to what Buckmaster was saying about Gezinct not being necessarily the main protagonist. Because now we're just focusing on like that episode. Like after that after that meeting with Gezinct, Atom becomes the focal point of the thing because the information that he has acquired, he's now sort of like a mini detective going sharing information.
Which I kind of like.
Yeah, it works. It
I
really
kind of like it shows, like I said, it gives the sense that it's a worldwide case. You
right.
know, it's not just
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
the
yeah.
lead detective. We're talking about. There's no shaft.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So
I
it's
mean, but I think that's a credit to the way this guy set up the writing. I think like what people need to take away from this is that you have to go in with that mindset that you're going to shift character to character. Like I think what some other stories do is they'll make one character who was the focal, like Perfect Anime that did this, right? I don't know if you guys ever watched it, but Akame ga Kill, right? The whole show you've seen it through one character's perspective.
isn't that terribly sad? Isn't that terribly sad one where the
Yeah, almost every character die. Almost a character
yes,
dies per episode,
yes,
basically.
it's like
Which at
yeah,
some point is just whack, and you just get numb to it.
yeah.
So I didn't like that. I know there's a bunch of people like, oh, this is so realistic. It's like, first off, giant magical scissor ladies. Nothing is realistic in this. Second of all, killing characters, one character per episode. Eventually, I'm just gonna be like, all right, who dies next?
Who dies
I'm not
today?
interested anymore.
But
But like they basically tried to pull a bait and switch at the end where they were just like, no, it's about Akame the whole time. Hence the title, Akame got killed. And I'm like, you can't do that. You can't just decide now that this is a new main character after you spend so much time focusing on this character.
right.
So with Naoki's work here and what he's doing with this, it's not like Monster where you're focusing on that detective and or was it a doctor? I think it's a doctor.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. It's like you're focusing on that doctor. He told this story in the sense of I'm going to shift character to character from jump. You can tell in the way he's executing it.
Right. But something similar to what you guys are saying, but I think it was done a lot better. I don't think it was done like a Kamega kill. Is Basilisk. I don't know if you guys remember Basilisk.
Oh my god, I haven't had that name in
I
a
haven't
long
I haven't watched
time.
Basilisk.
Oof,
Haven't
Basilisk
watched Basilisk.
is really, really good. Even though there's a character that dies in every episode, but the way it's done, it's really good. And there's no real main character. It's just it's really done well. Where
Yeah.
two clans are fighting each other, and like they're getting rid of each other episode by episode. I just want to say something quickly. So there's a guy called Takashi Nagasaki who is a co-writer of Pluto. So unlike some of Naoki Urasawa's work where he does the manga by himself, he had someone else to help him write this. So yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't know if there's anything you guys want to add regarding the second episode. You guys can let me know. But
We should
Well,
get
I don't know. Again, I would have liked to have seen. I think even in this first two episodes, even though we get some of it from Gesicht, I think Gesicht is the most active character so far. I would have liked to have seen like a little bit more of an action scene of sorts with this style, because they like even in this first two episodes, they like tease some stuff, some hectic stuff is going to go down. Even the animation at some state, like at some point, changes dramatically from how it's been presented before. And I'm just like, I would have liked to have seen him done more than just throw a kick.
I think
But
I think I get what you're saying, that you don't really like the cloud thing because it blocks the action sequence.
yeah,
Instead of actually seeing action in the clouds, you're hidden from it. I guess
I think
there is a point to it because it keeps it mysterious, but I mean, we could have gotten something.
this is giving me a sense of the four of us, it seems like Mr. Buckmaster is the most shonen of the four of us.
Definitely
Yeah.
from the criticisms, yeah.
Yeah, because shonen, we need action
Yeah,
to
definitely.
keep our attention. And
but I mean, no, but I'm saying if you're going to show me fancy robots with high tech weaponry, I'd like to see them use it.
you know what kills me? The way you're talking about it and the fact that you haven't watched Code Geass breaks my heart because from what you're complaining about, you would love Code Geass.
Yeah, I think you would
Yeah,
love Code Geass.
I mean, Code Geass. The tricky part is just it's that thing of where I'm going to like the character, but he's going to be doing morally reprehensible things, so it's going to be like, ugh. But we'll see. I'm probably going to check it out.
Why? Okay, this is gonna be a tangent like a mother effer here.
Yes.
But why is it so horrible to watch bad people doing bad things in a TV show? Why can't we just accept that it's a TV show?
No, I mean it's a personal thing. It's not a societal thing. I'm not one of those people where the anime is ruining society or whatever. It's just like it's a thing if I like the character. Like for example, I hate Light. So watching Light do bad stuff, I can be like, "Oh, okay, I can't wait for you to get caught." But like the way they describe Lelouch is supposed to be like a very likable character. So now if I like this dude and he's doing morally reprehensible shit, it becomes like, oh man, damn it. Did you have to? Damn it.
Lelouch is not likable, but I hear you.
No, but it's at the same time, the moral reprehensible shit that that Lelouch does comes nowhere near as bad as things that Light does.
Okay, tangent. Let's go back to Pluto.
Yeah.
So, let's go back to Pluto. Basically, Mr. Backmaster, join us in the Lelouch side. We need you. Yeah. Back to Pluto.
I'll check it out. But yeah, anyway, like I was saying, I just like the thing is like the way they show off like Gesicht and the way he's also moving like super tactically and he has all of that like stuff. I would have liked to have seen, because remember, you can also story tell through a fight.
No, we
Like
can.
you can also story tell with how a character moves and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So I would have liked to have seen some of that stuff as well.
I'm with the disclaimer at the top. I think everybody is entitled to their own taste. There's no right, there's no wrong. I personally like the slower pace. I actually, even if there's no action in the show, I'm totally okay with it. Because I feel like, in my head, I feel like I'm watching more of a mystery show. So I don't necessarily need any action. Like for me, this is like a girl with a dragon tattoo. You know what I mean? Like I'm watching a mystery. I don't necessarily need any action sequences in it. If they are good ones, I'll obviously enjoy that too. But I'm I'm looking for something different,
It
basically.
reminds me of, you remember with Game of Thrones, I think season 1. There was not much action, but we were so convinced that everybody that they say is a great warrior. We believed it. Like we believe that Lannister.
Guys, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Because I
Yes.
thought I was glitching up a little bit. I thought, okay, they've come for me at last. Kanye West has entered the chat with the other those who shall
No
not be
one
named.
man should have all
So
that
that
power.
Pete!
No, but you know what? I think to Buckmaster's point though, these robots are considered to be the 7 most powerful
Well,
robots.
I haven't seen the other 7, so I can't wait.
Sure.
So
But so he's right in a sense. Show us, how powerful they are. You don't have to go all out and do like a 60 episode thing where they're powering up for like,
Okay, but like here's the counter. Sorry to interrupt, but here's a counter, right? So like in Watchmen, not the movie, because Zack Snyder, but in Watchmen the comics, the action isn't the main focus. It's
Yes.
the mystery.
Right.
And for me, I feel like that actually made it better. I felt like the action was a distraction. And I mean, obviously, we're talking about the greatest superheroes of that time,
Right.
but the focus wasn't the action. I feel like when the focus was the action, it kind of
Compensates for the lackluster.
In Watchmen, I would say that the action complemented the
graphic
story.
novel.
Like, I don't think we get
are
a
we talking
lot of
about in
action.
the movie or are we talking about the comic book?
No,
Are we-
I'm talking about the comic book. I'm talking about the comic book. Like, so you get to see, like, for example, you get to see like, and when I say action, I don't necessarily also mean like hand-to-hand combat fighting and all of that stuff. I mean, of course, you get to see Rorschach do some stuff. Like Rorschach does actually, get in like some fisticuffs. You get to see like,
Silk
you get to see
Spectre
like
and-
Ozymandias like catch the bullet, like
Yeah.
stuff like that.
You remember
Like you get
the scene with Silk Spectre and Night Owl when they were fighting those goons at night? I think they went
no,
out.
but that's the movie. I think that's the movie. I don't think that happens in the comic.
Even in the comic, they do beat
Oh
up.
yeah, there is that, and then
There is
also
the soldier.
Ozymandias and Night Owl do get into a fight at the end of that comic,
Yeah.
and you
Very
get to see
brief,
like
but yeah.
yeah, but I'm saying even if it's brief, like we get to see and you learn like a lot about like Night Owl and Ozymandias and all of that stuff through that little fisticuff interaction thing that
Right.
they have there. So
Guys, remind
I'm
me
not
if I
I'm
was
not
having
asking
a-
for. Sorry.
So correct me. Was I having a fever dream, or does Superman appear in that thing?
No.
No. The whole thing is that the only person who's ethereal is Dr. Manhattan. Everyone else is
Okay,
supposed to be like a regular person.
Okay, cool.
True,
Yeah.
but it isn't like panel. It's not like a Spider-Man comic book where we're getting a long action sequence.
Yeah, I get that,
It's
but I'm
literally
saying,
one punch, two punch, three punch over. You know what I mean?
yeah, that's cool. I mean, like for example, a perfect comic that did this was Long Halloween, where you don't get to see the fight, but you get to see Batman leap into action and all of that stuff. So I'm saying like I could have used just a little bit more to see like some of this weaponry in action and all
I
of that
hear
stuff.
you. I get it. I totally.
I get you. I get you as well. But I also
I'm
get
not asking for Dragon Ball Z. That's not what I'm looking
Nah,
for.
nah,
I'm just
nah, 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 nah.
like I'm not looking for that, but like I would have liked to have seen these robots in action. Also because like with Astro Boy, when you look at like some of the manga and some of like the adaptations of Astro Boy, you get to see Astro Boy in action a lot, and you get to see the different capabilities he has as a robot. So I mean, I would have just liked to have seen some of the capabilities of the robots.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
also wanted to say that oh man, I'm losing. You know, when you're waiting for someone to just make the point, you wanna say something, you wanna add on, and then.
But again, that's a personal preference. It's not as much
Yeah.
a criticism on the show.
Sorry, I just wanted to say
Because
this. You know how we were talking. I was actually watching our video on the Netgasm podcast where we were talking about how Rick Flag was saying, this is Katana. Just don't be too close to her sword. Will make sure that whatever." So I was like, in here, how it was so good because when Gezinkt was going to see the robot that murdered another robot 8 years ago, or people 8 years ago,
Oh, Brow.
the other guy is trying to give him like these headsets so that there's some interference that could actually kill him. But then he says, no, my alloy
is advanced.
is so advanced that it would basically, you could say,
so I'm immune to electromagnetic pulses. I got that. It's like yes.
So you see how great they made that. I mean, that in itself was a threat, right? That in itself was like, these things are quite high in this particular situation, but they don't make it like the exposition in it was not forced. There was rationale behind him saying that thing.
Yeah,
true.
And at the same time, there's also
a helicopter, and then they're introducing you and saying, "Be careful, she can."
the other exposition scene without them talking too much was where he flat out refused to share memory chips with this psycho killer robot. It's like, oh look, let's exchange memory chips. Like, take these 2 pictures. Like, bitch, he doesn't have to say like, I'm not gonna touch you, disgusting memory thing. It's like, no, look at these pictures. Give me the information I need.
Exactly.
Hey, that's another thing. Is Brown working for the police? They go to this man a lot for these cases. This robot, I guess.
Yeah. So
I'm guessing because he has nothing else to do, he's like, I'm fine. I'm trapped down here anyway.
I mean, they do hint that his character development is him gonna be like, oh, maybe I should be more of a family man. Maybe I should take care of my family more. Or maybe I should have kids. Like, I'm expecting the series to end.
How?
With him and with kid. I mean, they tease it. They're teasing it.
Yeah, no.
In their own way.
Buckmaster will just keep quiet on this.
Yeah, I don't know.
We do.
No, I mean, like, Gizik very much like. The thing is,
don't spoil, please. Yeah.
No, I'm not spoiling. I'm just saying the way Gizik operates, he is, and I guess all of them, it's like you forget that they're robots. Like a lot of the time, people are just like, "Wait, you're since when? How? Like how are you a robot?" And then his arm will turn into a cannon, and then you'll be like, "Oh, right." So I think like that's also done really well. Where you can get those kind of vibes from a character like Gizik.
I'm still getting error messages. How the hell is he gonna have kids?
Hey, you know what? Back to let's talk about the end of this episode.
Android 18.
Yeah, you guys can refresh my memory on the ending of this episode. Like I said, I think
I haven't watched it.
Oh, I think what happens is
he meets
the
Brando.
Doctor. Is it Dr. Ochi who?
Ochana-Mizu.
Yeah.
He's
driving with Ochana-Mizu somewhere, right?
I can't remember. Oh yeah, so Atom. So Atom is driving with the Doctor, but I think at this time we got 2 plots running at the same time. So Atom's driving with the Doctor, and then the detective Gressett, he goes to meet Brando, and he sees Brando as he's a modern day, I guess, boxer in this world, but with robots.
Isn't he a wrestler?
Yeah, I guess so. It's like wrestling.
Yeah, it's like wrestling / boxing. I don't know, but it's some combat sport with robots. And
he's wearing a robot. He's a robot wearing like a huge robot, right?
Yeah, he's like a robot that gets into a mecha suit.
Yes.
Yeah. I know, right? Bruh, it's like a lot. But but then so he goes with Brando. Brando goes to meet his wife and his kids. And he basically tells him, oh, dude, there's a killer around. You're probably next. Take care of yourself. And then the dude's like, nah, I'm going to take out the killer. I'm going to do it myself. But then before he does that, he basically, promises his kids, like, I'm going to take you guys to the zoo. And as an audience member, we all know.
This is Goku promising Chi-Chi that Gohan is not gonna fight Cell. You're like, this is that moment.
No. It's there's always that side character that promises something before he dies. Like,
no, the thing is, like, they did it too much. It was just like there was too much family going around. There was too much. I'm like the best dad in the world and all of that stuff and yada yada yada. And then I was just like, I watched too much anime here.
It's the Kenshin. You won't leave us for Kyoto, are you? You're gonna come and stay with us forever, aren't you, Kenshin? Or of course, Kari-san. I promise. Next day.
Yeah, so basically, Brando gets his mecha suit,
Yeah.
and then he drives onto a road in the middle of nowhere, and then the cloud approaches.
But I'm
Okay,
saying, you
so,
see,
but
like,
he also basically takes his
Yeah.
that's weird. He takes his head. It's like Power Rangers when they
Yeah.
do the Megazord.
Yeah.
Takes his head onto the mecha, leaves the rest of his body in his car or whatever you want to call it. In his
Yeah. But I think the mecha also takes something from his chest. I don't know if that's
Yes.
his memory
It's
board or his
programming,
power or something.
yeah, processing power or whatever. And then he goes to fight but also one thing we need to mention is his friend, like his closest friend is called Hercules.
Yeah.
And he was meant to fight Hercules. Like they needed to have a match.
Mm.
But then he wants to sort out this mysterious killer before his match with Hercules.
And Hercules was also one of the robots in the 39th Asia War.
Yes.
yeah.
Oh, and they also give the backstory of the Asia War. It's
Oh,
basically
yeah.
it's basically the Iraq War. Basically.
Ooh,
Yeah.
ooh.
Because
That aged wonderfully, didn't it?
no, the reason they did
Yeah.
is so that they could show their connection to Mont Blanc, who died in the first episode. Like they were with him
Yeah.
in that war. Where we also saw Atom doing that whole parade thing. But yeah.
Okay, I think we've got 8 minutes of power left for a certain individual.
Oh, right.
sorry.
I mean, just the last thing. Does Brando bite it in episode 2?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, like that's what I'm
Surprise,
saying though. It's
surprise.
like I would have liked to have seen some of what he does. I would have liked to have seen how he was fighting this thing and all of that stuff. I mean, again, big gust of wind, sure, but I would have liked to have maybe seen him get bounced around in the big gust of wind and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Have you guys heard that song, the Pharrell song, the like a gust of wind,
Yeah.
and blow my mind, like a
That was the killer. That's the killer of Pluto. It's
yeah.
Pharrell's song.
Yes.
It's the gust of wind.
This is like the best way to show Daft Punk without showing Daft Punk.
You know?
It is.
So yeah, basically, obviously, this thing is OP, guys. Like
Yeah.
at this point, this thing is OP. Like if you try and attack this thing,
But also, it was just like, yo, listen to Gesicht, please. Like, why are you so
Fighting it.
Oh my god.
I'm not
going
gonna
back
lie.
to what you said about the color, it just seems like if you are a powerful robot and you're amongst the 7, you guys have a link of sorts because you can communicate with each other for some reason.
But it also, I don't know, I might be reaching too much into it, but because these guys were in the war, they all seem very PTSD, suicidal.
Yeah.
Like they want to die. Like even who's the robot that died in episode 1? Number
North-
two.
Oh,
Mont
Mont Blanc.
No, the one that plays piano.
Yeah,
North
northwest.
number 2.
North, whatever. Like I feel like, bro, you didn't have to rush into the cloud. Like, why didn't you call the cops?
Why didn't you just why didn't you just evacuate the old man? You didn't know what the
Yeah.
threat was. Was it coming after you? Was it after the old man?
I think these robots sort of like have an obligation to save mankind.
We get that, yes. And the smartest thing is to preserve life instead of going headfirst into the
Yeah.
unidentified danger.
But like the other thing is like what's this with this cloud, right? Like the way they describe it, especially like if you're talking about like the North number 2 situation, like he like these robots are constantly doing the math in their heads.
Yeah.
So he was looking at like depending on because like this cloud thing is also OP. Like the way it's taking people out,
it's
it's
like a hurricane or something.
yeah, and also it's like it's fast. It's not just a regular hurricane that's thingy. If that robot or if that cloud, whatever that thing is, whatever's in there, if it can sense that you're trying to make plans to get out, it's going to do things to kind of pull you back. So that's why North number 2 was like, okay, if I try to like he looked like he was doing calculations in his head of some sort.
Yes, yes. Because think about it this way: if he was trying to go save the old man, imagine the damage that he could have done to other people in the process. That's why it's like, okay, let me just go. Let me just go and see.
Kids, if you're watching this, call the cops. Don't try to
Call
take
the cops.
Call the
When you
cops.
see Tupac,
I hear you guys. Yeah.
No, look, hey, I'm saying we are robots. we don't have advanced weaponry in our stomachs. So no, I'm very much good on not trying to be an action man. Greatest hero of them all,
I guess we
action man.
should we do final thoughts for time?
Yeah. Final thoughts.
Look, I don't want to lie. This writing for me is really, really great. It's magnificent. It's brilliant. The letdown is that second part of the first episode. I agree with Develo. It's not really that great in my opinion. I do get the messaging behind it, but I feel like after we've seen that first act with the detective and then going back to this music thing, I was like, what is the point of this thing? But
Yeah.
apart from that, for me, strong two first episodes. I enjoyed every moment of it. It was great to see Atom in a different light, in a seinen setting as opposed to a shonen setting. It's like bringing Goku into a seinen. It was
It would
really
never work.
It would not fit. But
yeah.
anyway,
But
but like yeah.
it depends on the writing. But yeah,
My final thoughts.
Vegeta would be suited for seinen. But anyway,
I don't know. Anyway, my final thoughts.
still a bitch though.
Okay, my final thoughts. Again, not big fan of the allegory stuff. I don't usually, because like the thing is with allegories is like people like to use that to make excuses for certain things in the real world. I know it's just a personal annoyance of mine or whatever. So not a big fan of allegories. That part that people are complaining about, I didn't mind it. I just felt like it fit with the rest of the world anyway. Like they had to make the robots sympathetic somehow, because remember now, when you're dealing with robots, there's always like a disconnect of they're robots. I don't need to know like if they die or whatever. I'm just like, I'm sure he uploaded his AI to the cloud or whatever. It's not the same as a human. So they had to show that robots AIs can have dreams and all of that stuff.
right.
But yeah, yeah, and as a person who finished the show, I do think the intrigue gets bigger, better, and louder, and all of that stuff. We'll get into some of the other nitty gritties of it later, but like, yeah, if you're enjoying it now, it does stack on in the mystery and in the commentary.
All right.
And you, Tabella?
No, I'm hooked. I want to see what happens. I'm like literally after this, I'm going to straight back to finish episode 2 and keep going. Who knows? I might be hyper fixated and watch the entire thing in the next 2 days. We'll find out in the next episode. Okay.
On Dragon Ball Z.
Or
Dun,
Africa is next. Dun, 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 dun.
I'll keep it brief, but I think this is gonna probably be a masterpiece. I can't say for sure. I'm only episode 2, but so far I have no complaints. Even though there's slow pacing, but I know it's set up for more. So I think so far it's gearing up to be maybe anime of the year for me. But yeah.
Wow.
wow.
Oh,
Well, that's
okay.
amazing. All right, guys. So that is our take on Pluto. We're not going to rate it yet. I think we're just going to rate it once we have watched all the episodes.
Yeah.
But next week we're doing Bleach again.
Yeah.
So we're creating more frustration with these with all these projects, because now we're going back to Bleach and you guys are like, oh, but what about Blue Eyed Samurai? What about Pluto? But
So
unfortunately, that's just how we roll here.
Will we finish in time? Find
said-
out on
who
the
said-
next episode of Africa is Next.
Yeah.
Dun, dun,
we
dun,
called ourselves Africa is Next. So just, we're still getting there. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, from myself, from Buckmeister Cool, I'm sorry you guys couldn't see his handsome face. We have all agreed that he's
You'll
handsome.
see me next week.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then from
we've been
Pillar
trying to.
and
Who
Tibalokhala.
knows? Who knows? Maybe he's trying to protect his modesty because we're literally in the last recording. We're trying to sell him off.
Yeah.
Maybe he's on a date. Who knows?
Yeah.
We'll see you
This
guys.
is AI. The same AI I was bashing this entire time. It's actually AI this entire time. Is on a date.
Because I know.
Anyway, we'll see you guys on the next one. Cheers.
Cheers. Peace.